All right, folks, good evening. Another Friday in here. And I want to welcome you warmly to another rendezvous. We call it Journalist Hangout, number 1. So be it. I'm Citizen Jones. Now, today on the program, EFCC swoops on Sokoto State, nabbs 3 over 3.5 billion naira Ponzi scheme, and 5 officials for 553.9 million naira pension fraud. Wow. Bandits attack Zamfara communities, kill 42 persons, and later on, Nigeria records first case of, quote, most transmissible, end quote, Delta variant of COVID-19. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, BKO. I greet you, Jide.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. I've not seen Paul Dada in a long while. How do you do?
How do you do too?
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay. The team is ready. I hope you are. Okay, our first story. You know, the anti-corruption agency, the EFCC, may suddenly have woken up from slumber following the spate of arrests made in the last few days. It has in its dragnet 2 sets of felons rounded up in Sokoto State. The one is the case of 3 suspects who duped people of 3.5 billion naira via the internet by deceiving them that the funds are used to trade in forex, cryptocurrency, amongst others. And the other involves 5 Sokoto State officials of the State Primary Education Staff Pension Board. They've been dragged to the High Court there. They're answerable to a 553.9 million naira fraud bordering on alleged conspiracy, forgery, and criminal breach of trust. I wonder if the Greek philosopher Aristotle Jide was correct when he said, poverty is the parent of revolution and crime.
Yeah, but poverty is a bad parent then.
You can say that again.
Yeah, because you've got to be a good parent. And if you can breed violent crimes, if you can breed advanced free fraud,
Stars. Fraud stars, that's what I mean.
Yes, but that means that you are a bad parent. So poverty, by my own reckoning, is a bad parent. Wow. Because these are not good offsprings.
Oh, they couldn't be. They couldn't be. But you know, it's debatable. If you ask me, it's debatable.
Yeah.
Because some parents are good, but their children and wards are wayward by election.
That's true. In this contest, poverty has been the bad parent.
Okay.
If poverty pushed these fellows to begin to defraud people, then poverty, metaphorically speaking, is a bad parent. That's the point that I'm making, because there is no reason in the world to do what these guys are done.
Otherwise, we are saying every poor man must be a criminal.
Yes. Yeah, and there are people who rather die poor than steal someone else's money.
Yeah. I understand you.
So there are, as I've said repeatedly, there are policemen who would rather die of poverty than take a bribe from anyone. And they will leave the force with their heads held high.
Yeah.
You know. So it's at the end of the day, it is the choice of the criminal.
You did look at the 3 men. Interestingly, one of them now, my Akwa Ibom man.
Yes.
We are entering the news
crime
bad this thing.
Crime has no ethnic borders. You know.
No tribe.
No tribe. When people, that's why when people demonize a particular tribe, it's a bad thing. Nobody holy pass. That's the song by Two-Face Dibia. Nobody holy pass. We are all liable as a people to find one of our own involved in criminal activities. To defraud people in these difficult times of up to 3.5
billion naira.
You know, this issue of forex trade thing, there was someone who came to meet me in the office, in the church, and said, how do I recover my money? I said, what did you just get into? You mean you are conned
into parting with your money?
Yes. And so much money running into millions, because just as these fellows, Benson Kufri, Joseph Irabo, and Selsa,
that one is not from your place.
Sunday Marcos. No, our people don't answer this kind of name.
You don't.
This Selsa must be an Orobo.
Sunday Marcos. You give tribe to.
No, so that just so you know that it's not one of us. To make it doubly certain that it's not one of my people.
Okay.
Now, they deceive people that they could get up to 30%, 60%, 200%,
and that's
return
crazy.
on investment, depending on what you invest, how much you invest. So that will push people to bring as much money as possible, because you've been told that the higher the sum that you bring, the greater your return on investment. So that was what they used to entice people to part with their money. And it's unfortunate, but it's a good thing that the bank, because what the FCC requires to succeed is for the banks to give them a heads up when they notice this kind of thing.
So, sorry, you are seeing the buildings they used?
Yes. Investment.
Yeah.
That's their own return on investment.
Yeah. Come and party with your money and... come, it's crazy.
Oh, it's
but
terrible.
It's a two-way street.
And this is just the Sokoto zone.
Yeah.
You can imagine what's happening across Nigeria. Sokoto zone, two major milestones, or should I call it two major breakthroughs by the EFCC at the Sokoto zone. You know, the other, pension scheme.
Sometimes Dada they come. Sometimes when they say the far north is not internet savvy, and so you are wondering who is saying what.
But people can move there to go and defraud people. As you have seen, these guys are immigrants. They are not sons of the soil. These are not sons of the soil. From their names, you know that these are Nigerians who moved from other parts of the country to Sokoto to go and defraud people.
Dada, you know, the internet is here. So, I know a lot of people want to put the internet to crazy use, but this is an example. But people refuse to be worried.
Well, it's all about the failure of our value system as a society. You said...
I've just been told that a Sosa is a Benin name, not Urobo name. So I take it back.
So apologies to Urobo people.
Yes. There was someone who sent me this message. My friend here for Mari. Thank you for the heads up.
Well, it's the nature of the, like my own Kufre, Kwaibum name.
Yes.
So Kufre means don't forget.
The holy person.
Kufre means don't forget. So me, I'm going to go forget the crime now.
Yes, you can't forget the crime that your brother has committed.
You didn't stop that.
Okay, you quoted Aristotle as saying that poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. But I remember I used to have a boss who also said poverty is an incentive for greatness. Something like that.
Okay.
You know, poverty
metaphorically,
yes, poverty has driven some people to think deep. What can we do? There are people that poverty has driven to do legit ventures. You know, they have persevered, they've been persistent, they've worked hard, and they have success stories. So poverty is never an excuse for crime. Now, but I think, I think seriously about this, that the institutions that are supposed to mold character have failed. Talk about the family. We've heard of the case of
the prime one.
Exactly.
The family.
Exactly.
The unit.
The first significant order.
Yeah.
That's in social psychology.
Yeah.
We've heard of Association of Mothers of Yahoo Boys. We've heard of that in this country. Yes. Mothers of Yahoo Boys had an association. We've heard of that.
Registered.
Well, I know, of course, who would register such a society?
That's crazy.
Look at the
anything is possible.
But somehow these guys got themselves registered by the CSC.
Yeah, I see the CSC angle to it.
Now, look at the religious institutions also. Time was when places of worship were to drive character, mold character.
Yeah.
But now it's all about sow a seed, make money, and all of that. We've seen a case of somebody stealing and then buying the generator for allegedly buying a generator for his church.
Yeah.
You see, it's all about
and goes to prison. The church no follow up.
Exactly. Get rich quick syndrome. Get rich quick anyhow.
Oh yeah.
That is what obtains. You also. Even the financial institutions, thank God, if you look at this story very well, we are very grateful that the UBA was very vigilant, reported to.
Don't mention a bank.
Oh, sorry.
Two key banks came out.
Because it's in this, okay, it's in the story.
No, it's all right.
Okay, it's all right. So that bank actually reported to the EFCC. But banks have been alleged, are alleged to have been complicit in this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody has never had up to 500,000 naira in their account, and suddenly, within maybe a week, 10 million has entered.
Oh, come on! That's sowing seed and seeing the result.
Then you should investigate it. And regulations say that you should report to the EFCC if that is suspicious. But what we have is people want to make they say that corruption is probably the biggest institution in Nigeria, but I think it's not as powerful as banditry and what's it called now? And insurgency.
Banditry is a form of corruption.
Yes, well, you can say that.
Boys are corrupt. The minds of boys are corrupt.
Exactly. Let's talk about financial corruption now. It's a behemoth. Everybody, if you ask boys on the streets, they tell you, look, I won't get money, I want all those things.
Have you forgotten in a hurry the Port Harcourt Wonder Bank?
Well,
something like this.
Exactly.
When the internet. Because from my.
Yeah, I remember.
Umana Ekanem Umana. That's Umana Umana. He started the thing, and the thing blew in everybody's face. Nobody's learning. That's my trouble.
The descendants of Charles Ponzi are still here. They keep doing their.
That was Forum too.
Yes, they keep.
Lagos.
Everybody come inside. You remember.
My worry is this. These guys who sprung this, who did this, they are not dull guys. They are intelligent.
Yeah.
They are internet savvy. I wonder why they can't engage their brain to do something profitable, because it takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of thinking. It takes a lot of research even to do this kind of thing. And I think it's just a collapse of our value system.
But they say people go on to talk about Yahoo Plus. People, they do juju to hoodwink people. But is that possible?
No, well, it's been said, stories have been done around it. People actually do it. And they go to any extent, just to make sure that some people, let me borrow to fall mugu,
Oh, yeah. Ghana must chop now. If mugu fall.
That is the truth. But I think there's something has to be done about our value system. Value system society has failed.
So we go back to family.
This
nuclear part of society.
Even the educational institution, time was when a university graduate was a complete gentleman.
Yeah.
The universities were not only breeding scholars, they were also breeding people who were of good character.
Role models.
Exactly.
I want to be like
Exactly. Now, it's no longer a case of who went to school now. It's not a case of who get money.
Yeah. But it's old school versus new school of thinking, Hit it, break it. The second leg to this story is the 5 guys in the Sokoto State Primary School Board, a pension board, but primary school pension board.
Yes.
Defrauding pensioners. This is, it's criminal. It is
553 million
naira. So that's like hitting it big.
Yes, and it was just a case of abuse of their positions. One of them was secretary of the Sokoto Primary Staff Pension Board. The other was Director of Finance and Supply, Primary Staff Pension Board. And one was Accountant, Primary Staff Pension Board.
Go there in the mix
Then
now.
the other one was Cashier of Primary Staff Pension Board. You know, once you get the accountant, the cashier, and Director of Finance and Supply.
But do you know
the
accountants?
critical people.
Do you know accountants?
You have the critical
are
people on your side.
Accountants.
Oh, they
Beautiful
are
people.
wonderful people.
Yeah.
They are wonderful people. But in this case, these ones now, these people that we are talking about, did not cover themselves in glory at all. Primary school teachers are among the poorest in our country. And they are among the
and tomorrow,
most poorly paid.
Yes. Yes.
Now, this is what has been set aside to give them something close to good life. I'm not going to say a good life in the real sense of the word, but at least something that they can fall back on once they are no longer working. And then you have these people stealing what belongs to pensioners.
Please, there's Ibrahim from Ajaokuta. I think Ajaokuta is in your state.
Kogi State, yes.
Ibrahim, welcome.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, let's go.
How is your day?
Yeah, we're okay. Let's go quickly.
If I contribute, I want to say kudos to Mr. Babajide, my mentor.
Your statesman.
Yes. My contribution is the truth. Yeah, exactly. My boss at the same time. My mentor. Yes. I respect him so much. So my contribution is that I noticed that the people of this country now, they are not ready to hustle. They are not ready to go and do something good for themselves. Imagine even in my life, you see children of 18, 13 years, they said they want to go and do Yahoo.
Oh, even Ibrahim, even in your Kogi state?
Everywhere.
Go on.
You see them traveling to Edo.
Ismail, I'm sorry.
To Delta, they said not to go. This is very, very bad.
Wow.
Small children is very, very bad. Even me, I see the government should do something about it. They are not ready to do work anymore. They are not ready to work on that life. They are not ready to even do anything positive in that life. That is very, very bad. So that is all my contribution.
Ismail, thank you very kindly. Except Jide, everything government. Parents should be more drawn to it. Look, your child has brought home a good car, whatever that means, and you are not asking, what job do you do? How did the car come about?
Well, because poverty is ravaging our land. People are finding it difficult to survive. These are difficult times for Nigerians. That these are difficult times does not mean people should take to crime.
Yeah.
But there is no doubt that for a lot of these young people who are taken to defrauding people, their parents, for some of them, their parents have even stopped fending for them. You see a girl going through university, it's expensive to train a child at tertiary level, especially if that child is not residing in your home. Maybe his school is far away. You have to provide pocket money, you have to provide feeding money, and everyone knows that things are costly these days.
Mostly if the child is female.
Yes, so now you have to do that. In fact, do it and do it well if that child is female. Otherwise, they start getting involved in runs and all that. They call it runs, but it's prostitution by another name.
Yeah.
So the way it is now, parents who have literally stopped fending for their children, they do not have the moral strength to ask those children, where did you get this?
Yeah.
They just assume, oh, they are adults. Until one day when the police come to your house to arrest your son. Because they've just lost they too are...
Sorry, look at the last story involving the girl from a tertiary institution.
Yes.
Was that situation was avoidable?
But again, times have changed. The society does not punish people who get involved in fraud. We see some of them, when they come out of prison, the communities roll out the drums, they praise them, they sing their praises. So people now think that, look, our society winks at corruption, and because of that, they would rather do whatever it takes to get rich.
To belong.
Yes, and even if they get arrested, they will come out one day. Sometimes you see people that you expect. I also think that even our laws, to me, constitute a slap on the wrist for people who get involved in this kind of crimes.
I have a Rashid calling from Port Harcourt. Don't let us keep him waiting. Rashid, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. You are on.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Babajide.
Good evening.
Yeah.
There's a Paul Dada here.
Yes. Mr. Dada, good evening also.
Good evening.
Yeah, sorry, I'm
No.
Go on.
Babajide.
Yeah, I want to suggest something, sir. The issue of these boys that are going to advance field fraud. I'm from Osun State, to be specific, in Iwo.
Okay.
Iwo is becoming the headquarters of Yahoo. And I bet it.
I hope nobody from Akwa Ibom calls.
In the next 10 years,
Yeah.
we have the highest number of mad young men.
Kai. Imagine
They
that.
are not the
Imagine
rate
that.
at which, if you look at it, now the last time I went to the village, I saw people driving cars that I can never, in the next 10 years, I can't even dream of it. Young boys, 18 years, 14 years, less than 18 years, building
okay.
mansions for their parents, and their parents are there.
And the parents live in them, Rashid.
They live in them. So my advice is that if there is a way our traditional rulers can do something about it,
Yeah.
whosoever that observed it in his family and they didn't talk, they didn't raise any alarm, they should find a way to extradite them, or they should find a way to banish them from community.
Okay. All right.
Imagine they are not killing the young ladies, they are not hitting them,
using them
they are
for-
now doing all sorts of things. You see them eating stool.
Rashid, at least you don't do. We share your disappointment. I'm a grandfather, and Jide is a father. You are
a father, yeah.
So it's worrying. It's worrisome.
It's concerning. Really.
Yeah.
You know, what I discovered going through this story is that they forged vouchers purporting to have been signed by pensioners who received money. So who then received money.
Yeah.
But when these pensioners complained that they had not been paid, one of them was shown a voucher indicating that he had received money in excess of $1 million naira. And when he was shown that voucher, he said, "No, I didn't.
This is not my signature."
Yes, that there was no time that I was paid this kind of money. And if so many of them were paid like that, they wouldn't have been coming forward to complain that they had not been paid their payment. So you can see how corruption punishes innocent people. Now those guys, they are there, they are complaining, they've not been paid, they are suffering because of the crime that these individuals committed. And shamefully, there's a woman amongst them.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Interestingly.
You know, yes. And to her shame, she's in this company.
Racket.
Look at how much the judge, and I'm happy that the judge wants to do accelerated hearing. This is what we want. Then our laws must be amended to deter people from taking this course of action.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will lose the battle.
Paul, you know, before we go on a break, you know, a cynic said, it's crazy that over 10,000 laws are made just to enforce 10 commandments.
It's not just 10,000 laws we need, of course. We need the will and the will to implement the laws, because corruption is going on daily, and it is civil. There's a lot of corruption going on in the civil service.
Yes.
It is even civil servants that are corrupting the political.
They teach them.
They teach them because they are in the
familiar with
system.
the process.
Politicians come and go. It is a very
civil service remains.
That it is a very height of wickedness to take the money that belongs to senior citizens. Those who have served this
primary school teachers.
Imagine primary school teachers. We're not just talking of
these are not
directors or something. You understand? It is a very height of wickedness. I don't know how to describe it. It's very bad.
We've got to congratulate the EFCC for this breakthrough.
Well,
and encourage them to do more.
We wish them well. Again, but let me drop this. Natural laws are immutable, however rich you are. We'll go on this break and come back. All right, then, let's go into our next story. You know, any copy about a bandit strike anywhere in my country would not excite anyone again, but the trail of blood left by these brigands would strike a chord, whether or not it is responsive, at least in the heart. In the latest orgy of senseless killings, Faru district of the Maradun local government area of Zamfara state lost 42 persons when bandits on about 100 motorcycles shot sporadically. How much longer shall we turn our heads, Dada, pretending we just cannot see?
Here we go again. Here we go again. These people operated between Thursday night and Friday morning on check. Yeah. You know, whenever I see something like this, even before I read the story, I can almost think about the plot. They came, they operated on check, then the police public relations officer confirmed it, and then it says the police commissioner has ordered a full-scale investigation into it, and then until another one happens. Now, the truth of the matter is this. I am of the opinion that there's a problem somewhere. It's either there is no will, or there is no competence, or there is no capacity. But I think the first one is the most important, because if there is a will, you will deal with the issue of competence, then you will deal with the issue of capacity. The will is very, very important. Now, we're talking about 42 persons, although I think the police said 35. Does it matter even
if 5 or 1?
We're talking about 42 persons. 42 persons that had aspirations. 42 persons that had dreams. We're talking of husbands, wives, uncles,
aunties.
So aunts, that they didn't ask for much. They were asking for the right to live. I mean, that's the most important right. The most important human, the right to live. It was cut short. How many more people, how many more times will this happen? We've been talking about coordinated, okay, there have been sporadic, onslaughts against these bandits in some places, but we are talking about a coordinated response. Yeah. You've got to take this battle to them. You've got to see the only thing that if these people are not going to bow, then they should burn. If they will not bend, they should break. That is it, because they are enemies of the society. When I talk about this, I get emotional. So sometimes we become used. It's like we are becoming used to this news. Yeah. And then when you hear 42, 35, it's just like figures. But these were important. There were people that slept with these people. Even where you have successes and you say, okay, you have some have been freed after paying ransom. What about those who died? Yeah. The other time, these youngsters in Greenfield were released and everybody was celebrating. What about the 5 or so that were killed? I'm sure the parents are still mourning now. Oh yeah. They are still mourning. These are people. These are souls. I mean, they deserve, if you're not going to provide amenities for them, if they are not, they deserve to live. Protect them. There should be a way. There should be. We've been talking about it. And all we hear is we are doing something. We are going to speak to them in language they understand.
Paul,
please, that language is not being spoken now.
I feel you. Jide, I feel you too, even before you talk.
All we want is for our people to become safer. Some people said, Babajide likes bad news. He's eager to push out bad news. There's nothing I can do about people who hate the truth so much that they can sell their parents just to cover the truth. Whether it is bad news or not, it is news. And this kind of news we don't want to see. When we push it out and we challenge our government to protect us better, not everyone can speak. We must not wait until that time when things totally collapse before we complain that, look, this is Armageddon on its way. Let's do something about it. In 181 days, we have recorded 2,943 kidnap cases in our country.
Reported, though.
Reported and documented, by the Nigerian security tracker. Out of this approximates to 116 kidnappings per day. Out of these 2,943 kidnap cases, we have 5,800 deaths. That is between January and June 2001. That approximates to 32 deaths per day across our country. And when we are talking about deaths in Nigeria from violent crimes, Zamfara State comes next to Borno State with 872 deaths recorded over a space of 6 months. Borno State, 1,137 deaths over the same period. Admittedly, we are facing one kind of war in Borno State, where soldiers get killed and some communities have been taken over by bandits. But for us to continue to have this in this Zamfara has been in the news for so long. Now it is rated as the most insecure state in Nigeria after Niger.
Look at the footage.
Yes, these are people's homes set ablaze. After Niger State, Zamfara is rated the second most insecure state in Nigeria, followed by Kaduna. In fact, at the rate Kaduna is going, Kaduna will overtake this state because there is a bit of quiet even in Niger now, at least to some extent. So that's to tell you how bad this case is. Individuals tilling their farmlands, we now have rains in northern Nigeria. They are trying to plant. It has pleased God to bless northern Nigeria with excellent and fertile land. They may not have the same volume of rainfall as we have
in the south. Yeah.
Yes, but God bless them with fertile land. But these criminals are not allowing people to get to their farms. They are stopping people from farming.
Look at this.
Yes, you just
work of criminals.
Yes, you set people's homes ablaze. This is Boko Haram and these bandits. They do this in this community. It was reported that they were simply firing indiscriminately at people, and that they came on 100 bikes, each of them, those riders carrying an AK-47.
Yeah.
So there's no way, and a lot of those communities are inaccessible. Even by trucks, by multi-terrain vehicles.
Is he asking for too much if we talk about intelligence here?
Intelligence?
Because I know amongst the criminals, they share intelligence too.
I don't even know. This local government is the local government of the governor. And in recent times, Maradun. In recent times, that local government has been the worst hit in Zamfara. And it's the local government of the sitting governor.
Is it deliberate?
I don't know.
To make a statement? And
no, I doubt it. I doubt it. It's just, what this shows is that the fact that the governor is from there does not really matter. We had a minister of defense from Zamfara State, whose local government was constantly
I remember.
bringing Magaji. That was the local government of our immediate past minister of defense. His local government was constantly being attacked, and he couldn't do anything about it.
It's only proper to deduce from that story that
Yes.
it is deliberate. Let's see what he will do.
No, I don't even think it just shows that it shows lack of capacity to deal with the problem. Those problems had been there long before he became minister, but he got there, he couldn't solve the problem. He got there, left the place, the problem is still there. Now it's looking like what we are facing now, even with this governor. You are from this local government. You are a high chief from this local government. It's embarrassing for us to be reporting deaths of so many people from your local government.
Yeah.
You know, and these people get away with it because they attack remote communities, just kill people and go away. The president imposed a no-fly zone in Zamfara, but it has achieved nothing.
Oh yeah.
What is no-fly zone?
So sad.
The enemy does not use choppers or even fighter bombers. What is the meaning of the? We stopped mining. We said, okay, all mining activities stop. But it has not stopped people from being killed. In fact, more people are being killed now.
You talked about capacity. Is it a capacity problem?
I think that capacity is a problem. Strategy is a problem. Intelligence is a problem because you must get all of this right. Your strategy must be right. Otherwise, the enemy will keep staying ahead of you. But because do you know that we also don't respond quickly when we hear, even when we are provided with intelligence, because like the boys who were like Brini Yauri, where people were kidnapped, those students were kidnapped, they were warned. Those guys, those guys claim. I mean, those guys threatened that they will come. But what did we do? Instead of closing that school, we said no. Let them finish their exam. They're about to start exam. Let's finish their exam. Every time we made that mistake in Chibok. We said, leave them, let them quickly finish their exam. The enemy came and took away those girls. We still have more than 100 of them in the hands of Boko Haram. Now, this one too, instead of closing the place, we said no, and the exams are about. The governor himself, you know, I like it when governors open their mouths to say, look, we complain to federal authorities. The governor said he wanted to close the school, but he was told, no, let them, you know, he has no control over a federal school.
Exactly.
He said, no, let them finish the exam. And what did we have? They said they were going to provide security. You put about 14 policemen or so there. The enemy comes with about 300 fighters. What are you going to do? They'll take to their heels. So once a school is located far away in a remote area, close it. That's what Borno State has done. Exactly. You won't hear these days of schools being overrun by kidnappers in Borno State. They've relocated to the state capital.
Paul, you know, as we sit here, the question at the back of our minds will be, where next?
Exactly. Where next? The president has to be very, very serious, because this is going to define, this will be the definition of his administration by the time he leaves. Whatever achievements, I've said it over and over, that whatever achievements he has made in other sectors are being rubbished by all of this. They don't matter. Now, the federal government can nod its head and say, I don't try, like a lizard that dropped from the wall and not his head. But that's not the reality. You can't say you have tried. You can't say that to the parents of the children of Bethel, the parents of the students of Bethel and all these other schools. You can't say that. So that is why we must do something, because it's not a question of which place next.
When next?
When next? Yes. When, it's not a question of where next. When is it going to happen? Because it will almost certainly happen. Because
that kind of question comes when people lose hope.
Exactly.
That even when it's about to happen, it can't be stopped. We must stop them from succeeding. The more they succeed, the more they are encouraged to do these things. If like 8 out of 10 times they try to storm a school, to kidnap people, we kill them, we waste them, and they do not succeed, they will know that this is a no-go area.
Exactly.
You know? So, but the more they succeed, the more they are encouraged.
And it gives you the impression if this is a way of, if this has become a way of life.
They are becoming more audacious. Look at the case of
sorry.
of that demanding.
Paul, let me go quickly back to Jide's Okene in Kogi State. Okay. Adams is waiting.
Adams,
welcome.
Adams.
Yeah, let's go.
Adams.
Eteme, did you hear that?
Eteme.
It's sure.
The man no here.
No here.
Sorry, sir.
Are you incantating? It's just saying
my
here.
contribution.
You know, agree answer me now.
Adam, go on.
So, my contribution is issue of security in this country is going out of hand. It's even out of hand, if you ask me, because looking at on daily basis, we must have one thing or the other concerning either Zamfara or Kaduna or Borno is very, very bad. Even before the president came, among things he used to campaign that he will fight insecurity, and even now, up to now, for me, it's something is even worse. Even my state, last time, my governor, rather, he was complaining that the insecurity is something.
Well, he made his point. We got him first time. Thank you. Yeah, Jide, as we begin to take it home, from this hangout, we should be able to form mold opinion. Tell the center, tell the states. There's something to do from, at the back of our brains. We have the ideas.
Coordinated military operation across some parts of the North Central and the Northwest. Block exit points in the contiguous states in these locations, because they can move from the forest in Niger State. They can travel by bike right up to Ilela.
Okay.
So those forests link one another. All that we need to do is block those points through which they can enter another state. Because if you attack them in one state, we have problems in Kebbi State now. We hit them there, they will enter Zamfara. They were originally not in Kebbi, but from Niger they can enter Kebbi. From Zamfara they can enter Kebbi. So that's why only a coordinated military campaign can solve this problem. That's what I've been advocating, but probably the will to do it and maybe the funds.
No.
Because it's also expensive to wage that kind of war. That kind of war could last 6 months. It's expensive. All these munitions cost a lot of money.
But my trouble is
denominated in euros and dollars.
My trouble is, Paul and Jide, when we talk about political will, you give the impression that a bill has to be passed at the national
No. Political will is political. If you say that Babajide doesn't have the political will, he's talking about me. That's the decision maker is the one that must have the will, the strong will.
That's
nothing to do with. It's nothing to do with.
They not need to import them,
because sometimes a decision can be both strategic and political.
Exactly.
All right. So let's go to our last story. It does not really matter at this point if your faith is as tiny as a mustard seed or as gargantuan as a rock. The fact is that we may not have heard the last of COVID-19, a totally different variant or type of coronavirus known as SARS-CoV-2 Delta variant or lineage B16172 is upon us as I speak. According to the National Center for Disease Control, NCDC, a traveler to our country brought the Delta variant in. It was discovered after a routine test required of all international travelers and genomic sequencing at the NCDC National Reference Laboratory in Abuja. So we are assured that government has put measures in place to tackle the new strain Adhering to recommended safety protocols is the way to go. Again, getting the COVID-19 vaccine jab is strongly recommended. Jide, my faith, I know say you know they strong or small as a mustard seed, but I know say the protocols are where this thing, even inside motor, they say no wear, what do you call this, mask, even inside, but again, you never can be too sure.
Yes, you know, this variant is originally the Indian variant.
Oh, yeah.
So Indians were not happy that it was named after their country. They continue to complain that their country was being scandalized and given such a bad name.
Even when they are battling with India,
yes, that's the origin. That's where it was first discovered. But they didn't want to be associated with it, so they then had to change the name to the Delta. The truth about this is that, unlike the other strains of the virus, this one attacks young people a lot, is deadlier and easily transmissible.
Yeah.
That is what I fear the most about it, the fact that it's so easily transmissible. Now, when you look at what we are going through in our country, we do not have the resources to survive a full-blown pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic in our country.
As we stand,
Abuja, for example, has a population of about 2 million. All the bed spaces in Abuja, including isolation centers, are not up to 30,000. That's to tell you that, look, there must not even be a big breakout of COVID-19 in Nigeria. Because using Abuja, our country's most beautiful city, just with, including all the satellite towns around it, 30,000 bed spaces, not up to 30,000 bed spaces. Now, sometime in December, they ran out of oxygen in Abuja. That was around 18, 19, and 20th of December. Some people died, including big people. This supplementary budget that the president has just asked for, part of what they need that money for is to build an oxygen plant. Because we've seen how lack of oxygen has caused the death of people in other countries. So this strain is already prevalent in Uganda, in South Africa, in India. We must do our best to ensure that it doesn't get near our country, because
it's already in our country.
Well,
if doesn't become,
okay, we must do our best. You are right; it's already here. We must do our best to ensure that it doesn't spread rapidly in our country. We contain it. That's what I wanted to say. So, because it will be difficult for us to handle the situation, and the painful thing again, from my own research, is that even people who had been vaccinated were discovered to have tested positive to this Delta variant. You know, it looked like vaccines take years to develop, but in this case, the world was quickly given those vaccines. It's like we prepared fast food because we wanted to come back to our normal lives. But what are we facing now? England and Denmark played the other day. About 60,000 people were inside Wembley. And most of them were not wearing masks. So how do we, Copa America to his own? So how do we then deal with this kind of situation? So my own advice to everyone listening to me is, public places, wear your mask. You are going to public places, wear your mask. We need our lives back. Every one of us will be happy if if we can put this pandemic behind us. But we still have to protect ourselves one way or another.
Paul, you know, the story says that a traveler into our country brought this strain in. you know, usually it leaves so much to the imagination, you know. So when it came in, or he or she came in, what happened?
Exactly. So I think we have relaxed. We have relaxed generally, you know, in our response to COVID-19. I think we need to get some more facts about this particular variant. This variant is projected to make up for 90% of new cases in EU countries by August. I think
August is round the
corner.
Yes.
In US, I think it's about 50-something, over 50-something% of there are over 50%
that's
cases
the new variant.
of the new variant in the US. So it's a very serious one. And the natural antibodies that the body produces are very susceptible. You know, they are weak to actually cope with this particular one. So what we need to do actually is to go back to being very serious. I want to see television campaigns about this particular variant. I want to see more television campaigns sensitizing people, radio jingles, you know, community engagement. And then we need to tell also the conspiracy theorists to please calm down. They should please calm down. These theories are not helping us.
They are not.
You see, we don't want to get to a situation like Jide said, we can't cope with it. Already, the national unemployment rate is over 30-something%. The youth unemployment rate is over 40-something%. And then we can't even afford a lockdown anymore. No. Already we are dealing with the issue of
the economy is struggling.
Exactly. And then this thing, as we are told, it spreads very, very fast. And it kills faster. And it affects the children, the younger population. So
even people without any history of maybe heart ailment and all that.
Yes. So beyond issuing statements like the NCDC did, there has to be serious public enlightenment. Of course, we're in a society that is very cynical, skeptical.
Paul, allow me go there quickly. National Orientation Agency. We need it now. We need it now, at least for this campaign.
Yes. But National Orientation Agency. But beyond that, you also need grassroots engagement because
you know that all of this also costs money.
They cost money.
If we want the National Orientation Agency to be so useful to us in situations like this, we've got to expand its tentacles.
All right.
They will need to probably open some little offices in some local governments in our country where they could now use their personnel to engage the citizenry.
Because
of course, all of that costs jingles and all of these campaigns cost money. So if we fund the agency sufficiently, which is part of the Ministry of Information,
timeously,
I'm sure that we will get the right result. Because
I hear we must go, but I thank you very kindly. Paul, come back again, as they say. Jide and Paul, a little away from hard stuff. England, Italy. What do you think on Sunday?
I just want England to win. And I'll be praying for an England win.
That's a prayer, man. Yeah. Paul, what about you?
It's not a matter of prayer. It's the better team that will win. But also, it's a better team. I think
it's not a high-scoring game.
Both of them are the two most defensive sides.
I have a soft spot for England too. So I hope they win.
My own are Italy. All right. So
you know that their song now. 2 World Cups and 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup, England. 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup, England all the way.
So
all right, so on behalf of the Backroom Boys, I say thank you for listening. But then join us on Sunday from 1:30 for another 2 hours of this show. And we are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now.